Good evening, Rotorua. Tonight on City News. 308 criminal charges have been laid against more than 100 individuals during a Bay of Plenty police operation focused on illicit drugs. Labour Party MP Ian Lees-Galloway seeks local grassroots input on health, ACC and the care of the elderly, and roller derby action this weekend at Slam Rock 2014. 308 criminal charges have been laid against more than 100 individuals during a Bay of Plenty police operation focused on illicit drugs. The operation took place over 3 months across all 4 areas of the district: Rotorua, Eastern Bay of Plenty, Western Bay of Plenty and Taupō. Police also report that a number of children were found in properties where drugs were being dealt and used. In total, 26 children were located in 18 properties and a number of referrals were made to SIFs. And Detective Senior Sergeant Lindsay Pilbrow says it's sad and unacceptable that children, through no choice of their own, are growing up in these unhealthy and often dangerous environments. In Rotorua, 44 search warrants executed, resulting in 45 arrests. Labour Party MP Ian Lees-Galloway was in town yesterday seeking grassroots input on health, ACC and the care of the elderly. He was joined by Rotorua candidate Tamati Coffey at the offices of Age Concern and Grey Power. Mr Lees-Galloway says after his tour of the regions, Labour policy will be finalised in these key health and elderly areas and released to the public. 100 Glorious Years of Song is the latest opportunity daytime concert set to perform at the Baptist Church next week. The concert celebrates the diverse musical stars throughout the 20th century and again showcases some of our up-and-coming young singing talent. And if that's not enough, there are prize packs to give away. The show includes lunch and is on at the Rotorua Baptist Church on Tuesday, starting at 11 a.m. In sport tonight, a year out from our hosting of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup, the prize trophy has been out touring the country. Under-20 World Cup ambassador and former All-White James Benentine says 24 countries will be here next year to take part in the competition.
As host nation, we're automatic qualification, so all of the other 24 teams will be coming on, or 23 teams will be coming on board in the coming months, and the draw is done in February. So yeah, we'll have a clear idea of the teams and the tournament structure then.
Now the closest venue here to Rotorua is in Hamilton. Do you know how many pool games and if there's any finals going to be held there?
Yes, there certainly will be. There's basically 3 match days for the pool games, which are double headers, so there's 6 pool games in Hamilton. There's 1 round of 16 match and then a quarter-final match in Hamilton as well. So we're currently sort of pushing the sales for the venue packs, which will give you access to all of those pool games and the round of 16 for a really attractive price. So I think it's adults from $87 for all those matches. So wow. Very, very, very attractive. And then preferential ticketing, purchasing for the semi-finals and finals.
Now obviously football is one of the biggest games, or probably is the biggest game around the world, but here in New Zealand rugby is always going to be number 1. Do you think football will ever notch it out to from that number 1 spot?
Well, I think football will have its moments. You know, it's obviously a great sport that globally has massive, massive attention, and you know the trophy is a good example of that. You know, you look at the All Whites' performance a few years ago and getting to South Africa and the qualification match in Bahrain. A lot of people say that that's still one of their best experiences from any sport. So, provided we get things right occasionally, it'll certainly capture the imagination of the public. The challenge for us is to make sure that it's front of mind more consistently.
More on the competition and that spectacular cup later in the show. Tired of the rugby or over the netball? How about a bit of rough and tumble roller derby to spice up your sporting appetites? On Saturday, Rotorua plays host for the first time to Slam Rock 2014, where locals the Motley Crew will take on Tauranga's Iron Maidens.
On the night there's a few things happening. There's a competition for the best glam rock outfit. There's going to be a raffle that's drawn, there's an air guitar competition being held at half-time, and there's around about 45 minutes, a half, of women on skates beating each other up.
Oh my goodness, that sounds very exciting. Why is it becoming so popular among the ladies?
I think because It's a fabulous way of being fit and strong and healthy. You know, things happen like you get bruises, and instead of being ashamed to be bruised, you're proud. You know, you're proud to be bruised.
The more bruised, the better.
Yeah.
For Saturday's event, how much training's gone in and what's it involved without giving too much away?
A huge amount of training. We train in strategy. We've been training twice a week. I've been training for the last 2 years twice a week, and this is only our second ever bout. So we've played one match against Whakatane before, and this is the second time that we've played a proper bout as the Sulphur City Steamrollers.
Sure. So you would recommend Saturday night, 6 o'clock, I think it all starts.
6 o'clock.
Here at the Rotorua Sports Drome, right next to the Energy Event Centre, of course.
To your weather update now. Tonight, cloudy with the chance of drizzle, light winds and an overnight low of 4. Tomorrow, Friday, cloudy, drizzle, patch or 2 with light winds, a high of 14 and a low of 5. And the outlook for Saturday, cloud increasing with late drizzle, northeast breezes, a high of 15 and a low of 8. In the marine forecast for Lake Rotorua for Friday, variable 5 knots with waves less than half a metre and mostly cloudy with possible drizzle. Remember, for program listings and other info or to upload images, check out our website tvrotorua.co.nz, or you can look us up on Facebook. Still to come in tonight's program, more on plans for next year's FIFA Under-20 World Cup. We visit with Department of Conservation Community Ranger Caroline Abbott, and we have highlights from the weekend's Wedding Industry Awards and Expo.
Everybody, I get myself into some wonderful predicaments here with TV Rotorua, and I am joined now by Eve Johnson. Hi Eve.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. And we have a couple of little friends. He likes me quite a bit actually. There are 9 of these beautiful little Labrador puppies at the SPCA.
Absolutely, they got abandoned a few weeks ago at our front door. And there's probably 5 golden and 4 black.
And there's one down there that's not very happy about being left down with all the cuddles. I've got lots of other appointments. He's attacking the microphone cord, so just, oh, it's a bit awkward, darling. I'll pop you down. Off you go. Sorry, mate. So tell me about all of the work that you're doing here. It's just, you know, you've obviously got some little cuties here. It must be quite pleasurable.
It is actually. We were just moving from the kitten season now through to the puppy season. So kitten season kind of ends in April, even though we are still getting some litters in. And then we seem to get a lot of abandoned pups.
Aww.
So, yeah, we've got quite a lot of nice pups for adoption at the SPCA at the moment. So come down and have a look.
Yes. And tell me about some of the other work that you're doing with the dogs. You know, the dogs, obviously, you know, these little cute guys would go pretty quickly, but I imagine that there's some other dogs that kind of stick around for a bit longer. So, you know, how is that going in terms of being able to support them? Do you need some more donations, and how can we help?
Yeah, we're always looking for donations. I think the key for us is volunteers. We have been running a dog program to train our volunteers to fully handle our dogs, especially because some of them get quite large. But really, I think at the moment, if we could get people to volunteer their time and actually be able to go out and walk the dogs in the afternoon, that would be invaluable to us.
And you create quite a bit of a bond with the dogs. We're just watching them. You can't see them. They're just having a bit of a rumble. With this cord is quite long, and they're taking it all kinds of places. But we love them, and I have to say, you know, it's reasonably fresh in here.
It certainly
to
is.
put it very kindly. So obviously you need help with all kinds of things, and there's lots of work down here to be done, isn't there?
Absolutely. I mean, we're always looking for just simple things like donations of blankets, old sheets and towels that we use to house the puppies and the kittens in the winter time. Even old electric blankets, we just cut off the electrics, and it's great as a base for a kennel.
Nice.
Volunteers, definitely, always looking for volunteers. And of course donations of food or money, just to be able to feed the animals. An animal of this sort, or a little dog, will take up to $5 a day for us to look after and feed, and that covers things like veterinary care, our staff costs, you know, and just the shelter costs. So yeah, we're always looking for donations. So yes, please.
And so if people come down to the SPCA and they do kind of want one of these little puppies, I mean, what's the process and what's the cost?
Okay. Puppies such as these Labradors will probably be selling for $250. The reason we normally do 200, and we've done 250 on these because they were abandoned at 3 weeks. So we just said to people if they wanted to buy them now that we'd take them to the 8-week period for them, and that $50 would just cover some food and veterinary care. But they would receive the dog microchipped, desexed, vaccinated and ready to go.
Right, pumped out.
Absolutely ready to be a major pet. Look at this one.
Wonderful, and they are just lovely. Goodness me, I'll take one in my suitcase. So tell me a little bit more about some of the other work that you're doing in terms of, you know, your stray cats, and you said you're coming out of kitten season now. Does Rotorua still have a massive problem with stray cats and, you know, owners that aren't looking after their animals?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard call for us, and it's probably one of the problems that we have every day. And it's actually quite harsh for the staff because they get spoken to quite badly sometimes. Unfortunately, we have an animal control unit in Rotorua, but it doesn't cover cats. And what we have is, because there's no compulsory microchipping in New Zealand like there is in Australia, cats aren't identified to an owner. So they seem to be a little bit more disposable than a dog, where people go on holiday, leave their cat, abandon them, move house and just leave the animal. And it's a hard call for us because we are a welfare agency, we are prevention of cruelty to animals, and we're not funded by the government, we're funded by the public. So it's hard for us we have to take the whole rap on the cats. Yeah. And we can't do that all of the time. Cats can be a bit devious, so if they're being fed at home and looked after and you start feeding them 4 doors down, believe you me, they'll turn up every day for 2 feeds.
Yes, I've got a cat like that.
Yeah.
She's decided that she's everyone's cat.
Yes.
On the street.
I know. So what we're saying to people is if you do see an abandoned cat, first and foremost ask your neighbours, ask your locality, maybe put a notice in the local shop window, put it out on Facebook, you never know, somebody in Rotorua might recognise the cat. But try and see if you can home it before you start talking to us.
Right. Sounds like a good idea. And there have been just some movements in the news lately with, you know, with the synthetic drugs and wanting to test on animals.
Yeah.
And just your personal opinion, you know, testing with animals, what is your opinion on that?
Oh, look, it's a hard call really because we are prevention of cruelty to animals and we don't advocate it at all. It does happen around the world and it will be, I think, a constant fight. And Todd McClay, National, is one of our patrons, and National have come out in support of it, which has been fantastic for us and for him, and just in the nick of time, really. I think it was, you know, it was leading up to be quite a big debate, and I think they did a good turnaround, so we really appreciate that because I don't think that's the answer.
No, and I'm a bit of an animal person, and I can certainly say that they definitely know what's going on, and they have little feelings too.
I know.
Oh, it's so cute. So get yourself down to the SPCA if you've got $250 going to spare, and you would love a new little member for the family, then Eve and her team will really look after you, and I will just get my cord back off these little guys. Oh, they're too cute. We'll see you after the break.
Well, the census was held here in New Zealand last year, and the next one is not until 2018. But the big question is, do you really care? Now, I'm going to be talking with Luke Crawford from the census team, and he's travelling the country presenting a seminar about the census, and he's going to explain why you should. Cool, Luke, good to have you on the show. Now, when people fill out a census form, they pretty much just tick the boxes, send it away, and they forget about it until the next census. But today here at the Rotorua District Council, you guys are holding a seminar specifically about the statistics involving Māori. So what sort of things are you talking about today?
So today's seminar is here for the people of Rotorua. Māori are a big portion of that, so that's why Māori is features on it. But the purpose of today is really about giving back what was given to us. So if you think about it, at the end of the day, the information that we get is it's not ours. It belongs to the people who have given it to us, and it's right that we actually give it back. And so today has been covering off on some national highlights from the census. To cover everything is just a bit too much. So we did national highlights, and then we've broken it down to regional Rotorua, what's happening here in Rotorua in terms of population, age, sex, demographics, that sort of stuff there.
Well, let's talk about some of those highlights, because one of the statistics you talked about was that 70% of Māori acknowledge their culture and they think their culture is important, but there's around about 30% that don't think it is. So it's not really your job to interpret those figures, but what do you think that is?
Oh, I suppose, I just need to clarify there, because that particular survey is called Te Kupenga. It's a Māori wellness or social survey. It's run for the first time in 2013 after the census was run. So, but just to come back to the question, that question there, I suppose it's really great when people say 78% of Māori in the Te Kupenga survey have said culture is important, either very or somewhat or a bit important. 78%, that's a pretty big count. The real value of something like that, though, is really in those people who didn't say it was important. What are the sort of key factors about those people, and why is it, what are the different, are they in a social, for instance, a certain income bracket? Are they a certain age group? Those sorts of things there, and that census and Te Kupenga give us an idea of being able to actually have a look at what that is.
Yeah. Now, some of the challenges I'd imagine you guys face is that not everybody wants to fill out a census form. So how do we get people engaged, especially whānau, to get engaged to fill out these forms?
Well, I think the most effective way at the end of the day is getting people who actually trust the system. They trust in the independence of Statistics New Zealand to be able to actually take that information to treat it, everyone confidentially, so when we get it, it's confidential, no one gets known. If we can get people from here in the Bay of Plenty in Rotorua who are influential people are telling their own people, hey, this is actually important because it helps us, and they can give actual stories as to how it helps them, I think that'll go a long way to getting people engaged.
Now, talking about influential people, you've got city leaders in there, you've got people from the police station, church leaders as well. Were they all invited, or have they just turned up? Because obviously they need to know these sorts of things. Well,
to be honest, I didn't even know. I can see a fireman in a uniform there, but some have turned up, so what we've done is we've advertised it widely. We haven't gone to any specific people, we've just actually put it out there over the networks in Rotorua. You've obviously got really good networks here, and people have just turned up of their own volition, so it's aimed at the community.
Cool. Now, 2018 is the next census. Yeah. Is there going to be any changes that are going to be, quite significant to get people engaged again, like we mentioned before?
Well, I mean, that's always part of census, is trying to get people engaged, because what we want to do is have 100% coverage, so we get absolute crystal clear information for the whole of the country and for every region and for community groups. 2018 has to be different to how 2013 was run, so it'll be a modernised type census. That's a demand of the sort of where we are now as a country. That's what's going to happen. It'll be modernised, and we're working through how that's going to work.
Does that include doing it on the internet?
I'll just put the figures up there. 34.3% of people completed the forms online nationally, 24 point something here in Rotorua. So we've got some work to do to ramp it up here in Rotorua.
Now, one of the things that I listened to you talk about, there's one person who said his whānau was 100,000 people. It's got an interesting stat, isn't it?
Well, that's one of the things, we put up on one of the slides that talks about how good, some of the limitations of census, and one of them is it's a self-administered survey, and as a result of that, you can say what you want on there. And so usually we have residual buckets we can put. If someone was born on the moon, we can put them into a bucket. If their religion is rugby, we can put them into a bucket. The nice thing is we can count. Whatever they put, we can count, so that's good.
All right, cool. Good stuff, Luke. Appreciate your time.
Can't wait. Thanks, Phil.
Finalists in the Outstanding Barista, Outstanding Chef and Emerging Chef categories in the Rotorua Hospitality Awards have been showing off their talents in a live judging event at Waiariki. It's the first time the awards has incorporated a live judging event, which event manager Vanessa Wallace says is exciting. Finalists in this year's awards were announced at a gala media launch at Volcanic Hills Winery last month, with voting now open to the public.
I'm just ecstatic that the people in the industry have actually grasped the actual whole
the notion of it, the concept of it.
Of the awards and run with it.
Steve, it's a wonderful opportunity tonight to celebrate everything that is wonderful about hospitality in Rotorua. Why is this such an important thing to celebrate?
Because of the number of tourists and the locals here that are starting to understand the value of the industry to us. Where we bring visitors, we need good food, we need good wine, we need good baristas, and this is the night where we hear the nominees that are going forward for these hospitality awards. These are growing every year, and I hear there's a new category tonight about the people's choice, and I think that's very clever because a lot of us are very smart diners.
And how can people in the community get in behind these awards, in behind the people that are doing it? What would your encouragement be to them?
I say go out and try and sample a bit of our fantastic local cuisine, local bars, local cafes and baristas. We're becoming quite sophisticated here with the coffee culture, and people are eating out more and more. They don't have to spend a lot of money, but go out, sample it and then give us the feedback, and that's how we close that loop.
To meet some of our future hospitality winners, our crew went along to sample the work of first-year hospitality students studying at Waiariki.
One of my aunties asked me if I wanted to, because I wasn't doing anything and I just finished working, so she asked if I wanted to do some studies along the line of hospitality, and that's how I got into the course.
Is it hard adjusting back to study after being in the workforce?
Yeah, it is. Especially finishing school, then going to work, and then going back into it is quite hard, because you've got to learn how to listen again to a teacher and not your friend. So that's kind of hard. Other than that, no, it's pretty easy.
And is a good mix of Kiwis and internationals here?
Yeah, they're cool as the internationals. They do everything we ask, so they show a lot of respect for our culture in general, and same to them.
So what's your favourite bit about the course?
Every part of it, I like enjoying. It's a good experience for us. Even though if you come out of New Zealand, it's a really good experience. So even though if you go back to our country, we can develop something like this.
Is that the sort of work you want to do?
Yeah. Even my father owns some business in Sri Lanka, so I just want to help him out in those. So I just came to learn more about the hospitality trade.
I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
And what would you like to do in the future with that?
I'd like to own my own tavern eventually. That's the ultimate goal, but working around the world in industry would be really great.
I like it because it's practical, so we don't need much theory in it. And it's really useful when you go to the industry.
So where are you hoping to specialise?
I think managerial level, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm loving it so far.
What do you like about it?
The way Sharon teaches us, about hospitality and housekeeping and the restaurant, everything like here.
And where do you hope to go in the future with this?
Maybe somewhere in Europe. Yeah, I would like to be over there. Mostly tourists attract in the winters in Europe, so I would like to be go and stay, or maybe I would like to be a chef in the future. Yeah.
And lunch at Waiariki was superb, thanks to the hospitality students and head tutor Sharon Wallace for really showing us their best. If you have any news or an event that we can support, give the station a call on 07 3488 984 or email news@tvrotorua.co.nz. Thanks for joining us tonight. Ko Maria.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.